Skull Nation, stop right NOWUS. Bank Stadium is silent, and one number is carved into the scoreboard. 0. 0 points in 6 quarters. 0 answers. 0 margin left. J. McCarthy is still in concussion protocol, and a hip injury just ripped through the line in Seattle. Here's the first payoff. That's 0 on the scoreboard. It's the exact number of points the Vikings scored while losing 26-0. If you scold louder than you breathe, hit like and subscribe right now. We start with the catastrophic collapse that has Kevin O'Connell on the hot seat. Stay locked. There's a double cliffhanger at the end that will shake the NFC North. Closed door. Silent locker room. One head coach searching for words after the most humiliating performance of the season. The question isn't what went wrong, it's what went right. The answer, nothing. The name at the center. Max Brosmer. An undrafted rookie who threw for interceptions in a shutout loss, including a pick 6 that will haunt Vikings fans for years. This isn't just about Brosmer. This is about a franchise that scored 0 points in 6 quarters, lost 7 turnovers, and looks lost. Kevin O'Connell didn't sugarcoat it. Quote, "In no way, shape, or form can we play offensive football like that and try to win. That obviously starts with me." That's a head coach taking heat, but heat doesn't fix the problem. Let's break down the play that defines this disaster. 4th and 1 at the Seattle 4. The Vikings have a chance to tie after forcing a turnover. O'Connell calls a pass play. Not a power run. Not a QB sneak. A run-pass option with an undrafted rookie. The play is blown up instantly. Brosmer, under pressure, makes a desperation underhand heave into the arms of a Seahawks defender. Pick-6. Game over. O'Connell defended the call, saying they'd struggled to run with just 11 yards on 6 carries. Quote, "4th down, he's trying to make a play and just ends up being catastrophically bad. Gotta call a better play there." That's the second time O'Connell admitted he needs better calls. When does the pattern stop? When asked about his tendency to pass on 3rd and short, O'Connell cut OFF the question. Quote, "We have run it. I know that's been documented, but I just gotta call a better play there." That's defensive. Not the confident caller we saw last season. But wait, there's more. Adam Thielen was a healthy scratch, not injured. A coach's decision. Thielen has just EIGHT catches this season, and O'Connell benched him. That's a trade that cost a 4th-round pick, and the player isn't even active. Do you think O'Connell is losing control? Drop your take below. And if you believe the Vikings are in crisis mode, smash that like and let Packers fans know the North is open. But as catastrophic as that was, the next story reveals a deeper problem. While O'Connell calls plays that backfire, the front office decisions are under a microscope. Leadership fracture or front office failure. Stay locked. 3 years. 4 drafts. One question: can Kwesi Adofo-Mensah build a Super Bowl roster? The answer is a brutal no. The Vikings are 4-8. Their rebuild has collapsed. And blame lands on the GM who promised analytics. The name, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, and his job is in jeopardy. Since 2022, Adofo-Mensah made impressive moves. Jordan Addison, Will Reichard, Dallas Turner. Legitimate hits. But for every hit, there are for misses. Lewis Cine, Andrew Booth, Ed Ingram, Caleb Evans, Jaron Hall, Mekhi Blackman, Brian Asamoah, Ty Chandler, Dwayne McBride, Ty Felton. That's 17 draft picks who busted or barely contributed. 17. The most damning name. J.J. McCarthy, the 10th overall pick. The quarterback who was supposed to be the franchise cornerstone. Has been one of the worst first-round quarterbacks in NFL history through 6 starts. He's in the same conversation as Jamarcus Russell. That's reality if McCarthy doesn't turn it around. Adofo-Mensah is finished. Sources analyzing his track record show a draft success rate around 17%. For hits out of 23 picks. You can't build a dynasty on 17%. But it's not just the draft. Free agent moves have been questionable. He signed Marcus Davenport, bust. Made Alexander Mattison RB1. Disaster. Gave Will Fries $88 million over 5 years, overpay. Awarded Aaron Jones, 31 years old, $10 million per year. Risky. Traded Harrison Phillips for a late pick. He's thriving elsewhere. Traded for Sam Howell, then AWAY. Confusion. Misevaluated Nahshon Wright, now a standout for the Bears. Traded for Thielen with a 4th pick, and Thielen got benched. Traded Ed Ingram, now a star in Houston. Overpaid for Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. That's a lot of mistakes. The worst part, the Super Bowl window's supposed to open in 2025 is slammed shut. This was the year McCarthy was supposed to leap, when the defense dominates, when the Vikings compete for a championship. Instead, they're for an 8, checking Tankathon for draft positioning. The question for ownership, Mark and Ziggy Wilf, can Adolfo-Mensah be trusted with a top 10 pick? If the Vikings draft another quarterback in April and miss, this franchise is set back 3 to 5 years. Do you think the Vikings should fire Adolfo-Mensah? Comment yes or nitrogen monoxide. And if you believe Minnesota needs a fresh start, hit subscribe and let the NFC North know the Vikings are in turmoil. But as damaging as front office failures are, the next story cuts closer to the field. Players are dropping like flies. Injury crisis or depth chart disaster. Stay locked. Second half. Seattle Stadium roaring. Then, silence on the Vikings sideline. 2 words that make coordinators' hearts stop. Injury update. The first name? Ryan Kelly. The starting center, the anchor, ruled out with a hip injury. The second? Aaron Jones. The 31-year-old back who refused medical check, then was taken to the tent and never returned. Shoulder injury. To starters. To critical positions. To more problems for a team that cannot afford them. Let's start with Kelly. The Vikings came to Seattle already missing their entire left side of the line. Christian Darrisaw, starting left tackle, out with a foot injury. Donovan Jackson, starting left guard, out with an ankle injury. To Pro Bowl caliber lineman gone. Then Kelly goes down. That's 3/5 of the starting line unavailable. Backup Blake Brandel stepped in, but here's reality. You cannot win when your line is held together by duct tape. O'Connell confirmed Kelly left with a hip flexor injury. Nitrogen monoxide timeline for return. Quote, it's unclear if Kelly will play next week against the Commanders. That's vague. That's concerning. Hip flexor injuries linger for weeks. If Kelly misses time, the line, which allowed for interceptions and 0 points in 6 quarters, gets worse. Now Aaron Jones. A 31-year-old back the Vikings gave $10 million per year. Jones has been solid, but his age and injury history are concerns. He aggravates his shoulder and might miss the Commanders game. O'Connell said Jones aggravated his shoulder a little bit and will be evaluated. But older backs don't bounce back from shoulder injuries quickly. If Jones misses time, the Vikings are left with Ty Chandler, a backup who has not proven he can carry a load. This is a team struggling to run. They had 11 yards on 6 carries against Seattle, less than 2 yards per carry. Without Jones, the run game evaporates. Without a run game, Max Brosmer or J.J. McCarthy is dead in the water. But there's more. Safety Josh Metellus and linebacker Jonathan Greener didn't finish the final drive for precautionary reasons after dealing with injuries coming in. That's for defensive contributors banged up. This isn't bad luck. This is a depth chart paper. And because Adolfo-Mensah's draft classes haven't produced quality backups when starters go down. You need next man up talent. The Vikings don't have it. Do you think the injury problems are bad luck or poor roster construction? Drop your take. And if you believe this season is spiraling, smash that like and let Packers fans know the North is theirs. But as brutal as these injuries are, the final piece reveals how fragile this operation has become. Leadership crisis or end of an era. Stay locked. 3 stories. 1 nightmare. The offense scores 0 under O'Connell's calling. The front office, led by Adolfo-Mensah, built a roster with 17% draft success and cap problems looming. And injuries keep piling. Ryan Kelly, Aaron Jones, Josh Metellus, Jonathan Greenard all banged up or out. Minnesota is the storm, but right now it's a Category 5 disaster destroying everything. This franchise sent a statement to the NFC North. We're not ready. We're not deep. We're not good enough. Let's break down what this means. If the Vikings don't make massive changes, Green Bay's dominance continues. Detroit's rise is permanent, and Chicago passes Minnesota in the rebuild. The North is slipping. The Vikings needed to win 8 of 12 to sniff playoffs. They're 4-8. Even if they win out, which is laughable, they'd finish 10-8. That's not enough. The math is gone. The talent is questionable. Does ownership have the guts for hard decisions? Here's what I need from Skull Nation. 1. Smash LIKE if you believe the Vikings hit rock bottom. TWO. Drop a comment. Should the Vikings fire Adolfo-Mensah, fire O'Connell, or burn IT all down? 3. Subscribe because every subscriber makes Packers fans furious. But here's the cliff edge, JJ. McCarthy is still in concussion protocol. O'Connell is hopeful McCarthy clears for the Commanders, but hopeful isn't confirmed. If McCarthy can't play, Brosmer starts again, and this offense scores 0 again. That decision comes in 48 hours. And according to sources, this is a rumor. Adam Schefter mentioned the Vikings front office had a heated meeting after Seattle, with executives questioning whether Otto Fomentz's analytics approach has failed. That meeting could determine a full regime change. The Packers cleared cap space. The Lions are rolling. The Bears have a young quarterback. The Vikings, 4-8, broken, staring at a lost season. Which domino falls first, Otto Fomentz's job or O'Connell's ego? Plus, there's a rumor Justin Jefferson declined to speak to media after his career-low game. What was said could unite or fracture this team. That story drops next. SKOL Nation, the battle is here, the war is lost. Hit subscribe and let's find out if Minnesota can rise or if this franchise heads for a decade of darkness. We bleed purple together. See you in the next war.